Alright, welcome back everybody. This is GTM. Today's video tutorial or lesson plan to my students. Um, Actually, we're going to be covering some basic lighting tutorial or basic lighting lab that's going to be covering interior lighting. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and just launch up 3D Max here so you can get a better view of what's going on. As you can see here, we have a basic room. I'm zooming up on here. Within the room, we have some picture frames, some lamps, lampshade, lamps. Got a, looks like a sofa, coffee table, looks like a, I don't know, just some kind of unique looking table there. Some end tables, a door, and obviously we got a window here that's got a glass type of shader on it. Alright, as you can see, if I rotate around our basically our scene, it looks more like a movie set. You know, something that you would see in a sitcom show or something where you know, we don't have a roof or we don't have the back wall. All right, and so this is basically what we're gonna light up here. Now, the first thing I normally do when I want to get prepared for lighting a set, I am going to go ahead and place a camera in my scene. As you can see, we are in perspective, and it says right there. Alright, I'm going to zoom up on a frame, or frame up a shot that I somewhat want to work with. And as you can see, I want to get that door in there somewhat. And looks like I got my window, and I want to maybe just angle this out a little bit. That looks pretty good. Alright, from there, I'm just going to hit Control C. And as you can see, our view had changed to a camera now. If you need to get back to perspective, just hit P. Now you're back in perspective. Now what if I want to set up another camera? Make sure before you create a new camera, you deselect the old one. Otherwise the new one replaces the old one. So I'm just going to click out here in the gray somewhere and just deselect that camera. Zoom it up, and let's find another angle that I want to work with. Alright, we'll go a little straight on. That looks pretty. Let's go. That looks pretty. Something a little more interesting. Alright, something like that. That looks pretty good. And then I'll just hit Control C. As you can see, we have camera 2 now. If I hit P, and back out, now I have 2 cameras. Now if I hit C, you can cycle through, I believe. No, you have to hit C, or you can right click up here and you'll have camera 1 and 2, and you can kind of shuffle through them both. And like I said, we have camera 2 right there. Alright, so I'm going to go back to camera 1. Alright, now the next thing I'm going to work with is let's place our first light within our scene. So what I normally like to do is I'll zoom out, or I'll Alt W out, so we have all our 4 viewports. And I'm going to go ahead and hit zoom all extents right here and just frame up everything. As you can see, we have our 2 cameras in our scene, and our top, front, and left and camera view are all centered, besides our camera view that stays there. Alright, so now I'm going to work with my top viewport here. And I'm just going to hit Alt W. So this is what I'm working with. I'll hit my G key to get rid of the grid. And as you can see, we're looking at the top of the room. This little area right here are the 2 windows. So if I Alt W back out, this is representing that little area, or not the 2 windows, but the big window here. So that's right over there. Alright, now the first thing I'm going to do is place a directional target light in there. So let's go to our lights. And as you can see, we are in standard photometric. Let's drop that down to, we're in photometric, but we need to get the standard, so I'm going to hit standard. And then as you can see, we have all our different lights we can work with, which I explained in another video tutorial. Alright, so I'm going to grab a target direct. Now, target direct light is mainly used for like outdoor lighting, or it could represent the sun or moon type of light sources. I highly recommend always using a target direct. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of position myself here. With that activated, my target direct light, I'm going to click and drag right somewhere by my end table or my copy table here and just let go. And then from there we're going to adjust our light. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and switch to our front viewport. So I'm going to go Alt W. Oops, let me deselect that. Let me go Alt W. And now I'm in my front viewport. So as you can see, our light, I'm going to zoom up on it. Our light's sitting here on the ground. Alright. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and slightly raise it up. And as you can see, I'm paying attention to the perspective viewport. And I'm kind of letting this light beam, if you want to call that. As you can see, this is our hot spots and fall offs right here. That's the actually blue, light blue line and the dark blue line. I'll explain a little bit more as we go. But I'm trying to shoot that beam right through the window here. So the first thing I'm going to do is, the window is kind of rectangular, or square I should say. I'm going to have this selected, or light. I'm going to go to the modifier right here, the blue rainbow or whatever you want to call it. And right here in our shadow parameters, I'm sorry, our directional parameters right here, I'm going to change, as you can see, default is that circle. I'm going to switch it to rectangle. Alright, and then I'm going to kind of fit this hotspot and fall off in between that window. So I'm going to actually bring my hotspot down. As you can see, it's starting to shrink down. I'm just, right here, clicking it, and I'm holding down my mouse and dragging it. I'm just slightly fitting it in there, and then bringing down my fall off. And slightly spreading it just a little bit. This is spreading it, by the way, separating it, I should say. But this is basically how we spread the shadow. Alright, so I'm going to tighten that up just a bit. There you go. Maybe crank that up just a little bit. Alright, from there now, the interesting thing is we can select our light, and I'm going to switch this to local, just so when I rotate this, I can rotate that to kind of fit more into our window. There we go. And then I am actually going to move that over just slightly. Actually, you know what? I'm going to keep that straight. Let's go back to local. I'm just going to slightly rotate it just a bit. There we go. And then I'll bring it down slightly. And maybe, yeah, that looks pretty good. Alright, so from there I have my first light actually placed in, as you can see in my left viewport. Here's our sunlight that's going to be coming in right through that window. So let's go ahead and give it our first test render and see how much light we got going in. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and hit my teapot here. So let me go over here. Alright, I'll re-render that. So my render was on the other monitor here. Alright, as you can see, we got a little bit of light coming through. Alright, so the next step is let's kind of brighten this up a little bit. We can probably go to our intensity right here, and maybe I'll go 1.5. Render that out. Alright, that looks pretty good. As you can see, 3D lighting doesn't work like real world lighting, so we're going to have to create fill lights to, kind of brighten this area out. But for now, I just want to get the base light down. Alright, so, when I do daylight systems, or not daylight systems, but day lighting, this color swatch right here, if you double click it, you get this up, your color selector, and we can kind of change the color or the mood of our light. So I'm going to switch that to maybe like a slightly light blue, and then press OK. So when I render that, alright, we got a little bit of blue light. We could probably tone that down slightly, but that's good for now. Alright, the next thing is, let's get our shadows on. So, with the light still selected, go into shadow maps. Right here, turning on shadows, I'm checking it. We got our shadow maps. Alright, I'm keeping my type to none. That means that light continuously lights on. That's pretty good for like sunlight or moonlight. Alright, for now, our near attenuations, we can check them all, but they're not that important. So, if you want, just leave them unchecked. All right, let's go on to our shadow map parameters. First thing I want to do is keep our shadows kind of not too dense. I'm going to go about 0.7. And then let's go to our shadow map parameters. Our bias basically, explains how far our shadow jumps off from our geometry. So I'm going to keep that at 0.1. I always keep my bias at a 0.1. And then our shadow map size is at 512. So that's usually kind of a low res map or shadow map. So when I render that out, our shadows, like I said, you can't really see them right here, but as we start placing some fill lights, we're getting low quality shadows. So I'm gonna raise that up to about, let's go 2048. So you usually multiply by 2. 512 by 2, is what, 1024, and then 1024 by 2 is 2048. And I've heard of some cases people going 2048 times 2, which would be 40, I forgot, 96 or something like that. All right, and then our sample range, we're probably going to keep about a 4, and that is the bleed of our shadow. And you'll see this as we go. All right, so far, so good. I'm going to go ahead and test that out one more time. All right. Looks like our shadow, our light's coming through. So now we got to represent the light that is actually going to be kicking off the walls and stuff, since we're not like using mental ray or the daylight's, rendering system or sunlight system. That's another type of lighting system. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go to my lights, or my create tab, go to my lights, and I'm going to grab an Omni light. This works kind of like a point light. Alright, so what I'm going to do is go to my top viewport. I'm going to use this kind of as a fill. Omnis I usually use as fills a lot of times. So I'm going to go ahead and just click right my top viewport. Just like that. And as you can see, our light is blowing out our scene. Now if I click on the light and go to a modifier, you can see that our intensity of that light is at a 1.5 and a none. So we have two lights pretty much crossing over each other. And so I got two of them at 1.5, an Omni that's at 1.5, and this target directional at 1.5. So that's kind of making this area more like a 3.0 light because they're both hitting that area. So first thing I'm going to do is let's just go ahead and let's take the decay down from none to inverse. Excuse me. As you can see by doing that, our light is adjusting. Inverses are not as strong, so I usually use them as fill lights. Another thing I'm going to do is you can see our light is on the ground because I placed it on the top, so I'm going to raise that up a little bit. Alright, I'm going to keep this shadow off because the one that's only going to be casting the shadow is our actual sunlight here. Alright, from there we're going to probably play with our render here and see what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my camera view and hit render. Alright, as you can see, we're starting to light up a little bit. And I notice my camera view, what I'm rendering, is showing the black void in the background. So I'm actually going to come to my camera view right here, right click it, and I'm going to go show safe frames. That way I can see what exactly is being rendered in the scene. So I'm going to actually take my zoom tool. This is my dolly. These are camera controls because I'm in camera. Grab my dolly and I'm just going to click and drag and kind of zoom up slightly, about like that. Now when I render it out, I can see what exactly I'm getting within my whole scene. Alright, so far so good. We have our Omni right here. And what I want to explain is this little green, this green cage or circle around our Omni. That's known as your start level. So if I crank that up, basically the farther I crank that up, the more light hits, and it's basically reaches that geometry more. If I crank it down, you can see the light tends to dissipate because the Omni doesn't reach that far. So this would be at a 1.6 where we're not really seeing anything. So when I render it, that Omni's not really reaching out towards the rest of the room. So I'm crank that up, the start level. As you can see, it grows, and then you can see my camera view. It starts to brighten up a little bit, so we're going to crank that up just a bit. And then I'm going to render that out. Alright, there you go. Now, we can possibly crank it up even more to reach out further. And as you can see, the room will brighten up. Sorry, I keep right clicking right there. So I'm going to actually hit my render again. As you can see, we're brightening it. Brightening the room. Alright, so now what I'm going to do from here is put me another fill light to brighten this little area out too. So what I normally do is I'm just going to go ahead and hold down shift, select that light, which it already is, and just shift drag it over. Bring it down here and make it a copy. Alright, as you can see now, we have two 1.5 inverse squares that are going to brighten this whole area out now. So we have this one and this one. And both of these omnis are set to inverse. None of the shadow maps are turned on. And if we go to, basically we don't have to worry about our shadow map parameters or anything because no shadows are turned on. So let's go ahead and give us a test render again. Our camera view. Alright, as you can see, we're starting to lighten it up a little bit more. I may tone that light down, so I can come back here and maybe bring this down to a 1.0. And I'll go ahead and render that out. Alright, there we go. Alright, so we're starting to get a pretty good light setup going. Alright, the next thing is, so we're kind of basically almost like working at a 3-point light. So we got our key light coming in here. This would be more of like our fill light and somewhat of our backlight. Alright, so from there, what I'm going to do is, let's go ahead and test out our active shade render so we can adjust these lights a little bit more. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and hold this down, my teapot, and go to this blue one right here, or it used to be a red teapot. I'm going to click that. This is going to generate. You can see, I'm going to do that again. You can see there's like a red line and a green line that generates. Now this is not our true render. This is more of our active shade render. So we're not able to get volume lights or anything like that. So if I hit it, you're going to see this generate. Now normally what you do is you leave this window open because it's already generated the render. Now when working with complex scenes, this ain't really complex, but when you start throwing in 5, 6, 7, up to 10 lights, 20 lights, I've seen some cases where you have 30, 40 lights, render times tend to get heavy and take quite a bit. So here with the active shade, we're able to at least test our lights on the fly. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my tools here, light lister, and this lists all the lights in our scene. So I'm going to kind of shrink that down or just place it off to the side. Move that right there. And as you can see, we have our directional and our two omnis. So I'm going to go ahead and name these. I'm going to rename that. I'm going to call this our sun. We'll just call it the sun. This one will be, we'll just say fill light 1. And we'll call Omni 2 kind of our backlight. Alright, now watch what happens here. As you can see, all my shadow maps are at 2048. My biases are at 1. And my sample ranges are at 4. And we look like we got a pretty good bleed on our shadow for our sample range right here. Watch when I... Actually, I don't think I can just crank that up. I don't know if that's going to generate. Yes, it does. You can see our shadow starting to spread. So I'm going to go to about, say, 40. Actually, no, it doesn't show it. I just want to double check that. So let's keep it at 10. And for now, I'll leave it at there. We'll test it back because I still want to, I don't want to close out the active shade render. All right, but for now though, let's go ahead and play with these colors here. For example, I can hit this color swatch, and maybe I didn't want like a bluish light. Maybe I wanted to go with like a yellowish kind of tone here. And then as you can see, it changes my light. I can actually copy this one down to that one, make it a copy, and now you can see it starts to light up our area a little bit more. This is changing on the fly. And maybe I wanted to copy this one over down here. And there you go. Of course, I could have gotten really creative with it. Let's go back to like a blue. Alright, that looks pretty good. But what if I wanted my sunlight to be maybe like an orangish, you know, like if it was dusk almost. As you can see, we're starting to turn the hues of the lights. You know, this can get pretty crazy if I wanted to. Maybe I want it to be really dark. That could be like moonlight, and this could be represent somewhat copy that over. And then probably copy that over. And then I can probably tone these down. Maybe this is a 0.5. You know, we're starting to darken the room a little bit. Maybe I'll keep this at a 0.5. You know, now we're starting to get somewhat like a little midnight type of moonlight. Alright, so just letting you know you can switch these on the fly. That's what's so awesome about the tool, the light lister, and your active shade. So for now, let's go back. I'm going to double click and make this kind of my daylight render here, or lighting setup. So I'm going to switch that to like a light blue. And I'll probably copy these ones over, and maybe even possibly, let's get this one over here. And as you can see, this is all updating at one time. I'm going to crank this up to a 1.0, and as you can see, it's at an inverse, and then maybe this is at a 1.0 as well. You know what, let's go, let's make this a lighter white, or lighter blue. There we go, and then we'll probably do this one a little bit of lighter blue. There we go. And you know what? I'm going to make this one slightly... I'm going to bring it down. Somewhere on the lines, I suppose, of that. We can probably crank one of these up. Like I said, this is what's so great about the light lister. Alright, that looks pretty good for now. Alright, now from there... That's why we use our active shade. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out. Close this out. I'm going to hold this down and switch it to our regular render. Now this would be our true render. Alright, so there we go. So far, so good. Now, I'm going to show you how to work with some volume light here. In the next, I'm going to stop this record and I'm going to continue in the next one. Alright, we're going to go ahead and continue and work with some volume lighting. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and close out my renderer here, and we are going to... What I'm going to do is find a black and white image of some sort that's going to create the illusion of shadows. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and launch up just going to throw up Google here real quick. I'm going to show you what kind of images I'm going to, or at least an image what I'm going to work with. Sorry, just waking up, guys. Oh, how cool is that? Oh, I didn't even notice that. Right, anyways, that was pretty cool. Alright, look up black and white. Let's go tree. I don't know, branches. You'd be surprised what you can find on Google. Ah, perfect. There's quite a few things in here. You know what, I'm actually going to try this one right here. I'm going to save that image. I got a few other ones here I might work with. And let's see, this actually looks pretty good. Let's save that, which I believe I already have. Okay. And let me look for another one. And the reason we use a black and white image is because, like I said, we're going to cast shadows. So we, as of right now, we don't want to try to cast any kind of colors or anything. Alright, and I think I'll go with maybe... Let's try... Wow, there's tons of them we can work with, but let's try... I guess we can just try, let's say this one right here. Alright, let me go ahead and close that out. As you can see, I have saved about 4 images. Alright, the next step here is, first of all, let's get our volume light working before we try to cast any kind of volume shadows, is what what they're known as. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my directional target light right here. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is go to Render, Environment. Notice I have volume light in here already. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. That's from an older one. I'm going to go ahead and add volume light. Press OK. I'm going to move this dialog box up. As you can see, my pan, I'm just using my right mouse and just panning this up. Right here you can see where it says pick light. I'm going to select that, mouse over, and pick the light, which is my directional light. I can pick it from here or anywhere I can get a hold of it. So, or I can actually hit my H key, and my hierarchy comes up, and then I can select the lights, and then I can pick it from there as well. Remember, that's your hierarchy, which is H key, and that's right there. Which, by the way, your H key, your hierarchy, lists all your geometry and lights and cameras that are within the scene, if you have any in. For example, display cameras. Why is it not showing them? Anyways, but yeah, this is a list of your hierarchies. Alright, as you can see, we have our lights in our scene. So, alright, I'm going to go ahead and just pick light. Select that. There you go. I had titled it Sun earlier. So, from here, you can see we have our density at 5.0. That's pretty high. You also have different options for your volume light. So we're just going to go ahead and give this a test render. Also, the window might be casting shadows, so it might be blocking the volume light. So we'll just test it out right now. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and hit my render tab. Oops, wrong viewport. Let me select my camera view right here. Okay, as you can see, we got volume light trying to get through there, but it's being blocked. So I'm going to close that out. I'm going to select on my window. I'm going to right click it. As you can see, I'm selecting it. So watch, I'm going to hit P. So I'm in perspective and you can see what's going on. We're in perspective right now. I'm going to select my window right there. Highlight unselected. So I'm just working on him. I'm going to right click on him. Go to his object properties, and we're going to make him not cast shadows. That should work. And then I'm going to press OK. Let me test render this out, and as you can see, our volume light is going through our glass now. So I want to test. Yeah, okay, that's good. Alright, so now I'm going to unhide all, and then as you can see, I'm going to render from this angle here, and I'm just going to hit my render tab, and as you can see, we got some volume light shooting through our scene. Notice our hotspots and fallouts, they look a little small for the window, so we can actually tighten that up, or you can actually grab your hotspot or your directional, take your scale tool. I'm going to go on my local, and I can actually scale that out just a bit. Maybe I could possibly even move it over. Let's test that out and see how it looks. That looks a lot better. Alright, now check this out now. So I have a density of 5.0. I can bring that down, maybe like a 3.0. That looks pretty good. I don't want to go too dense with it. Alright, so we have some volume light now in our scene. I can even change the color slightly. Give that a test render. Now remember, with your active shade render, volume light doesn't test out with your active shade. Alright, that looks pretty good. And now let's do our projector map. So we're going to project shadows onto the ground. Now this is a lot of artists or 3D artists will use this to kind of basically it's give the illusion that there's something, you know, being casted from outside, maybe like trees. You'll see this technique a lot in a lot of in a lot of renders. Just go look at 3D Total and look at some of the renders. All right, let's go ahead and go to our advanced effects right here. So I have this selected, my light, advanced effects. Right here you see projector map. I'm gonna turn that on, check it, hit the none slot, and then I'm gonna look for the bitmap, which are the images. And I believe, why is my, let me hope my, notice my hard drive not showing. Sorry guys, I'm waiting for this hard drive to actually appear. There it goes. So let's go back, bitmap. There we go. And going to, oops, sorry, I do have it on the desktop. We have our maps. And you know, let's go ahead and try this first one right here. I'm gonna open that up. Alright, now when I render this out, watch my volume light. As you can see, the projector map causes the streaks. And then of course you'll see a shadow being casted. Unfortunately this one's not going to work quite as well. So I'm going to try a different image because we're getting that, you know, that's getting casted right there. I guess I could make this a little bit wider and that would possibly help it. But I think we'll just use another image. So come in here, we'll find a new image, and I'll probably go with, say, this one and see how this one works. Oh, that actually works pretty well. That one looks pretty good. Let's try another. That's why I always grab a few of them. Let's go with this one. That one works pretty well too. I like that one. And you know what, let's give it one last shot with the other one before we finally decide. I'm going to project that on there. Oh, I kind of like that one the best so far. Alright, so there we go. We have some volume light coming through. Now let's go ahead and what we're going to do is render out our images, and we're going to composite them in Photoshop. So let's go back to our true camera mode or view. I'm going to go to camera 1. There we go. I'm going to close that out. Give this a last test render here. Alright, the idea now is we're going to have to try to get this to render out and get everything. You know what? Let's hope this becomes transparent, the background, so we'll have to test these out in the window. I'm going to save that out just in case. We're going to go to our renders. And let me clear these old ones out. Clear those out, and then we'll finish up this lab. Alright, so I'm going to save this last one here real quick, and then we will call this a PNG. And we're going to open this up in Photoshop to see if everything is okay. So we're going to go diffuse 1. I'm going to save that out and hit check my alpha channel, press OK. Alright,